Congress passing legislation to suspend the debt ceiling. As a result, in March, the debt hit $21 trillion.
I fear that it might take another financial crisis before Congress acts, but then it might be too late.
The Heritage Foundation's Stephen Moore says D.C. is in the midst of a bipartisan spending spree.
We've seen a rocketing of our debt, especially in the last 10 years, where, Obama took the debt from 10 to 20 trillion.
If the debt payments continue to rise and rise, do you see them getting bigger than major programs like the military?
Well, here's the thing. I mean, the most important thing is in controlling the debt is to grow the economy. That's the advice that I gave to Donald Trump.
Trump's chief economic advisor, Larry Kudlow, agrees. What drastic actions are you recommending to stop the rising debt that doesn't damage the economy or cause interest rates to spike?
I don't think, by the way, there's any particular relationship between the debt and interest rates. But I want to reduce the debt burden on the economy. So, growth. You've got debt, numerator, GDP, denominator. Okay? Get that GDP up.
The gross domestic product is the value of U.S. goods and services used to examine the nation's overall economic health. Kudlow recommends growing the economy to the max so that the government brings in more money to make the interest payments on the debt.
The trick is get that ratio as low as possible. And I don't think we're in any danger zone right now, but I'd like to see it come down.
And rising interest rates can be very expensive for Washington and taxpayers. The government paid out more than $450 billion in interest payments on the national debt in each of the last 2 years. If rates rise just a half a point or so, that could add another $70 to $100 billion or more to those payments every year. And Moore points out that will add up over time.
If the interest rate goes up a quarter of a point, or let's say half a point, what kind of impact will that have on paying off the debt?
So every 1 percentage point increase in the interest rate increases the debt payments over a decade by $1 trillion. So we're talking about really large numbers.
Moore recommends one way to slow down the skyrocketing debt is to reform programs like Social Security and Medicare, plus delaying the retirement age because people are living longer.
We've known for 30 years that the Titanic is headed to the iceberg in Social Security and Medicare. We know the American people are aging. I'm a baby boomer. There's 80 million of us. In the next 10 or 15 years, we're going to stop paying taxes and we're going to start collecting all these government benefits. It's not going to work.
Bottom line, this is a long-run problem that neither party is addressing. In the meantime, the government won't face any limit on borrowing until March. Ben Kennedy, CBN News, Washington.